The first reading is from the Gospel of John, chapter 20, verse 15 to 16. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you were looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. I did a bit of a research on the meaning of the word Rabboni. We all know that rabbi is teacher. Rabboni is more personal, my teacher, my master. Now, this is the same Mary that wipes the head of, used her hair to wipe the foot of Jesus. She's the same one that loved Jesus so much. Jesus loved her sister Mary and Lazarus. And when he was told Lazarus was sick, he went there. And then we know that when Mary, after he had the conversation with Martha, and Mary came out to him, Mary said, "Oh, Master, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And Jesus, it says, because he loved Mary so much, he was deeply troubled. He groaned in his spirit. He had that love for Mary. Same with Mary. And Mary knew him as my master. Now, when Jesus died, Mary went to where they laid him. She was the first that went there. And then she thought it was the gardener, right? But when she heard Jesus' voice, he said, "Mary." She recognized that voice. And then she said, "My master." How do we recognize Jesus' voice in our lives? Do we have that personal relationship with him where we can say, "Rabboni," my master? Do we have that time off, we stay our own personal time with him, where we commune with him, where we tell him, "You are my master"? Yes, we have a communal fellowship, we have, gathering, but do we have that time we'll take out and say, "My master, Rabboni"? As we worship together, let us remember that we need to bring out that time and acknowledge him as my master, my Rabboni. He's our Rabboni. We need to make out that time and let him know that we love him. In the midst of everything else, the first thing is the love of God. We have that love for him, and that supersedes everything. Our next reading by Gordon.
Right. This reading is entitled "The Road to Emmaus." When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning with us while we talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. So in our talks, we got talks about the verses chosen from Resurrection Sunday. There was Mary the empty tomb, supposing Jesus was a gardener. And then in the afternoon of that Sunday, Cleopas and an unnamed person were walking home despondently to a place called Emmaus, 7 miles down the road. They'd heard the reports, they'd heard what Mary had come back and said. They'd heard that Peter and the other apostles, whoa, he's alive. But they were still downcast. Now, I think you can see a pattern in Mary and these two people. Confusion. Don't know what's going on. Because resurrection is so different from our human condition, isn't it? Resurrection is so different, it takes a long time to understand. It was late afternoon, early evening, and they invited Jesus to come in and stay, which was the custom at the time. When were their eyes opened? When did they see Jesus properly? At the breaking of the bread. Now, at the breaking of the bread, during this Sabbath meal, the host would recite the blessing. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. They're so familiar words. They'd said 1,000 times over the Sabbaths, over special meals. They'd seen Jesus do it. He'd even done it at the feeding of the 5,000. Suddenly their eyes are opened by Jesus. Suddenly they see Jesus. Then he vanishes. And what's their response? Do they stay at home and keep it to themselves? No. They realise that Jesus had burned their hearts within them. Notice also, where did Jesus explain the resurrection from? Was it from what he said or from the scriptures? Jesus is predicted thousands of times in the scripture. Jesus explained it from the Old Testament passages that he would be Messiah. So they rush back to the others, they meet them in that room. Instantly they want to share their testimony with others. And that's how we should be, because we're resurrected too.